Hello and welcome to another video, and today I'm talking about The Last of Us, the HBO series this time, well also how it compares with the game in some respects. This I'm focusing on the first episode here, so this is going out after the episode airs. Now this won't be a massively overlong video. I've already mentioned in my overall review how the casting of Pedro Pascal as Joel, Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and Nico Parco as Sarah are completely wrong for this adaptation, so you can go and watch that one if you want to see that side of things. Here I'll talk about sort of a few comparisons with the game. When it comes to the zombies they encounter, pretty much the episode moves quickly onto the clickers rather than showing a lot of regular zombies. There's one or two, but early on in the actual game, one or two in the episode, but early on in the actual game, there's a couple of situations where you come across zombies simply standing about, which have to be negotiated around, rather than going in all guns blazing. Still, I guess there's some events they need to cut out when they're trying to fit a long game into 10 hours of TV. Also in this series, there's perhaps an issue for some that there's no spores at all in any of the series. Perhaps that's because it would cause the actors to have their faces covered while wearing masks, but then they have tendrils instead, which it appears are already part of a game, as there's a video that's gone online which shows a sort of unreleased clip of dialogue that mentions them. Yeah, it's not a biggie, but anyway. What happens to Sarah still happens to Sarah, although the zombie encounter comes when she goes next door and sees neighbour Mrs. Adler feeding on someone after attacking her husband. At this point, Joel then turns up and tells her to get in the truck. So that's a different introduction to the zombies from the game, where Sarah was simply a bystander and Joel sees a male neighbour breaking into his front room. In fact, like a number of characters, Tess also gets an early introduction when she's talking to Robert about getting a truck battery rather than speaking to Joel and how they need to go and see him. Plus, in the game, the deal is that he's selling them guns, not a truck battery. In another scene, not in the game, we're introduced to Ellie, who's chained up for reasons not yet explained by that point, unless you play the game, of course, and knows what makes her unique. However, in the game, we don't see Ellie until Joel's been to see Marlene, and he's tasked with taking her to the Fireflies, who we understand can offer humanity a chance for salvation. Oh, and then another intro, this time for Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies, with one of her staff asking why she has a girl locked up in a room, who responds about where they're planning to take her, but without explaining why. Well, to us dear viewers at least. Naturally, again, if you've played the game, you'll know why. There's also a subsequent discussion between Marlene and Ellie, but the former makes reference to Riley, who you'll have seen if you played the DLC from the first game, Left Behind. I'll leave out any discussion about Riley because that's for a later episode. When we get to Marlene, I always want to do that, Tess and Joel meet up with her and they bump into Ellie at the same time, after Marlene's ended up in a shootout with Robert, which results in him being dead and the battery being just as dead. In the game, but then it turns out the battery was dead anyway. That's because he was trying to stiff them, because he's a bit of a tosser. But in the game, when Tess and Joel find out that Robert admits he hasn't got the guns because he owed the Fireflies, Tess realises that's who she needs to go to, and just kills Robert for wasting her time. In the first episode, Marlene's been shot in the shootout, hence she needs Joel and Tess to take Ellie to where the Fireflies are. But in the game, it's simply a trade to take Ellie in return for the guns. However, Marlene is being shown as injured, yet it's not explained how she got that way. Additionally, for episode 1, Joel sells Oxy to a cop, a drug of some sort presumably, but the cop's talking about how the Fireflies are blowing things up and how Joel should stay off the streets for a few nights so he doesn't get shot because it's not easy to see when it's dark. But the episode ends with Joel tackling and killing the same cop that he made that deal with, although in the game there was no previous meeting or deal, and there's cops, well plural, in the game, and they're just obstacles to overcome. Either way, it's at the same point, by the end of the first episode, where Tess and Joel find out that Ellie is immune because they see the scar on her arm and how it's 3 weeks old, but she hasn't turned into a zombie. So, there we go. That's some extra bits and pieces to Last of Us Episode 1. To me, it's a massive missed opportunity. I can understand the difference between playing the game and watching the series, and how they basically cut down the long game into just sort of around about 10 hours or so, 9 or 10 hours. And Yeah, I mean, it's still not working for me. I can see why they say with films, the book is better because the book's got more information to impart, basically. But yeah, I think if they were to do this properly, they shouldn't have made the whole series based on just the whole first game. I mean, I never watched The Walking Dead because I mean, I love a zombie movie, but I can't get into a sort of a zombie TV series because I just isn't it just going to be the same thing, every single episode, just shooting a load of zombies. But then again, maybe that's what this needs because it's a lot of, especially what we've had so far. There's a whole lot of plot exposition. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot of zombies. They're just here now and again, whereas there were lots of them in the game. So perhaps they should only have done the series as part of the game part one, and then they would have allowed more time for zombie fights. But I think they've just tried to rush the series, and it's just ended up being a complete bit of a mess, quite frankly. And the casting really does not help. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the first episode and on the games, of course, in the comments below. But in the meantime, please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, click on the bell for all notifications. Cue zombies or cue Genesis.
8 missed calls? Where the hell are you? Call me on my way. Where is he? There you are.
Sarah, are you okay?
Yeah?
Has anyone come in here?
No, who would come in here?
Don't go near the doors. Just stand back there.
Dad, you're kind of freaking me out. What's going on?
It's the Coopers. Something ain't right with them. I think they're sick.
What kind of sick?
Jimmy!
Dad?
Honey, come here. Come here. Jimmy! Jimmy, stay back! Jimmy, I am warning you!
You shot him.
Sarah.
I saw him this morning.
Listen to me. There is something bad going on. And we have got to get out of here. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Tommy, come on. Come on.